All right, and so let's go ahead and begin. And what we're going to do first is crop the hippo. Okay, yes, we're going to have to crop again. It's lots of extensive cropping on these DVDs. But I'm going to go ahead and crop the hippo, and you're going to watch. I'm just going to go through here and use the pen tool. I'm going to zoom in. And it's okay if you want to crop an area or go a certain way where you just want to be safe that you get, even areas that you don't even think you're going to have on the final morphing creature, go ahead and just include it. I want to grab the pen tool on the toolbar and just zoom in here to the hippo and just start making a path around the hippo. And then later I'll just turn this path into a selection, and that'll allow us to crop the hippo out of this image and paste it into the lizard image. While we crop this, we're going to want to include the whiskers. I just thought it'd be totally cool, and to just make it a little bit more realistic than it already is, let's go ahead and I want you to make the path around these whiskers here at the very top, or little hairs that are on his upper lip or mouth here, or actually I think that's the nose. And I want you to just crop around that and then come back. Come back to the hippo head. And continue cropping around. Cropping does take a little bit of time, but a lot of people look at the images, most of the amazing images that have been done in Photoshop are the ones that have just taken more time. And if you're always wondering, what do the pros do? Well, this is what the pros do. It takes more time, but the result is well worth the effort. If you've ever asked a photographer, what's the secret behind taking his photographs, or if you ever ask a filmmaker or a director of photography or whatever, they'll always tell you they just stick to the basics. And a graphic designer, a professional graphic designer, Photoshop user, or whatever, will tell you the exact same thing. They just stick to the basics. Me personally, I don't have any very advanced techniques. You'll see on this on these videos on these DVDs that everything is pretty much just very simple. I'm not using any complicated tools or anything like that. Most of it is just a layer mask with a crop and a paintbrush, and that's pretty much it. It's just, I think a lot of people try to complicate Photoshop a little bit more than it really is. It can be a little bit intimidating because of all the tools and all the little things you see and all the little menus. But really, it just comes down to just a few tools. If you know how to use them right, you can pretty much create anything you want. So anyways, let's get back to the tutorial here. You can see that I've created a path around the hippo. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and right-click inside the path here. And then I'm going to make that, or turn that into a selection, by selecting Make Selection. Feather radius 0, make sure anti-alias is checked. Go ahead and click OK, and you will see a selection form around the hippo head. Easy enough. All right, let's go ahead and come up here to Edit. Copy. After you've copied that, let's go over here to the lizard image, and then I want you to go over here to Edit, Paste. Great. So after we've done that, let's go ahead and rename that layer, or this layer here, to hippo, or hippo head, whatever you want. And I'm going to double click on the background just to unlock that. And we're going to name that lizard. The background layer is always locked by default. You can't really do a whole lot with it, but what I like to do is just go ahead and double click on it. And not only can you name the layer, but you can also just unlock it just by renaming it. So that's pretty easy to do. And now we don't need this hippo stock image any longer because we have it over on this image over here. So let's go ahead and just close this image out. I'll select no, I don't want to save the changes. And so here we are in the final image here. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and save this. So I'm going to come right up here to File, Save As, and we'll just call this Morphing Creatures 2. That way I don't copy over the original, and I'm just going to go ahead and press Enter key on the keyboard